Hello, this is Marcy Billen with Ria Team Realty and Keller Williams Mullinex. I wanted to talk to you guys about the 6 personal perspectives today. So what this is 6 different principles that we can be aware of in our life. And these things have been proven, if you're aware of them, if you continue to work on them, they can be proven to move your life and or your business forward. So this is part of a class that I teach called Gary Keller's Quantum Leap. Gary Keller, of course, is the CEO of Keller Williams. This is not a real estate class. This is simply a class to help bridge the gap between education and life, because we all know that what we learn in school is not necessarily how we have to operate in life, right? So the first principle for the 6 personal perspectives is self-mastery, or the process of acquiring knowledge. So mastery is the process of acquiring knowledge, skills, and habits to make you a relative master at something. So if we're talking about self-mastery, then we're talking about mastering ourselves. Typically that starts mentally with your mind, perhaps with meditation, yoga, other things like that. It of course can be physically, going to the gym, making sure that you are healthy, in order to live your life in the way that you want it to be. So my question to you is, what have you mastered, or what are you working to master right now? Are you working to master your mind? Are you working to master your health with the food that you eat and the things that you do with your body? What are you working to master at this point in your life? Number 2 is the 80-20 principle, or Paretos Principle. So this is the idea that everything matters equally is actually a lie. Everything does not matter equally. We have to have priorities, right? So not everything is going to drive success in your life. And if you want to have extraordinary results, then you have to pick and choose the things that you do. I think you'd agree with me on that. So you need to learn to focus on what matters most in order to move your life forward. So what is that first step in figuring out what matters most and what you need to do in order to move your life forward? Is it maybe taking things off of your to-do list that maybe just really don't need to be done? I find myself having to do that a lot. So that's the 80-20 principle, figuring out what's the most important. All right, number 3, moving from E to P. This is the 3rd principle, moving from entrepreneurial to purposeful. We all have a natural ceiling of achievement in the things that we do. And we hit that because of our great talent, and that's amazing. But if we want to move past those points of our natural achievement, then we have to be purposeful in the things that we choose to do. So instead of hitting our natural ceiling of achievement and stopping there, we can actually move past it. Number 4, removing limiting beliefs. So we all have something that we tell ourselves when we wake up in the morning, or before we go to bed at night, or before we go into that big meeting that we're not really sure that we can tackle. So those limiting beliefs usually look something like, I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough, I don't have enough money, I don't live in the right city, I don't have the right house. These are all limiting beliefs that may or may not be reality. Usually they're not, they're just something we tell ourselves in order to keep ourselves down. Okay? So what we have to learn to do is to switch those limiting beliefs. So for example, one of those limiting beliefs that I hear quite often is, I'm just not smart enough, like I can't do it. Okay, so in the past, this is how you would switch the script on this. You would say, in the past, I believed that I'm not smart enough. But the truth is, I have everything I need to learn the skills to do what I desire to do. So we can change the programming that we have in our minds. That programming may have been there for a long time, but that doesn't mean that we can't change it. And this is one of the ways that we get that done. Number 5, being learning-based is the 5th principle here. So there is learning-based and there is ignorance-based. You probably know what I'm talking about if you're watching this video, if I'm talking about someone who's ignorance-based. Being learning-based, though, is a foundation of how you can approach things in your life. So a learning-based individual knows that they have knowledge, but they can know more. There's always more to know. So how can you switch from being ignorance-based to being learning-based if that's something that you're striving for? Number 6. This is the last one of the 6 personal perspectives. This is choosing to be accountable. We all know that person who plays the victim in their life. Everything is never their fault, right? Everything that happens to them, it's always somebody else's fault, or they're a victim of circumstances. But at the end of the day, you can't be a victim if you want to take control of your life. You have to be responsible for it. So learning to use accountable language is one of the best ways to flip this script and to help us move forward in being responsible with our lives. The greatest question that you can ask yourself in order to become more responsible in your life is, what can I do differently? So we can't control other people, but we can control ourselves. So that question of what can I do differently can really help move you forward. All right, so do you agree with these 6 personal perspectives? Do you think that these could help you move forward in your life and in your business, maybe moving from college to, what we call real life, or maybe you have a different transition going on in your life? If you do, then I would love to hear about it, hear about how you've been handling these different things in your life. Please drop that in the comments below, and I will talk to you later.